Hi, this is Christian, and welcome to NFL Updates Express, your weekly dose of NFL news. Coming your way, Super Bowl 50 predictions. The AFC representative in Super Bowl 50 is the 12-4 Denver Broncos. Now, after a strange loss to the Colts in last year's NFL playoffs, it seemed that Peyton Manning could be finished. After a comeback win against Kansas City in Week 2 and a solid win against Detroit on Sunday Night Football this year, the Browns game made it evident that this was not the same Peyton Manning that we had come to know and love. He threw 3 interceptions in that game and needed his defense to escape to 6-0. The following week, I believe the Broncos with Manning played their best game of the season, beating Green Bay 29-10. 2 weeks later, after Manning broke the all-time passing yardage record, he arguably had his worst game of his career, throwing for just 35 yards and 4 interceptions. To many, including myself, it looked like we had seen the last of the Sheriff. Brock Osweiler, the backup quarterback, played the next few games, including the 30-24 overtime win to end New England's perfect season on C.J. Anderson's 48-yard touchdown run. Fast forward to Week 17 against San Diego, and Osweiler continued his subpar play, which led head coach Gary Kubiak to make the change back to Peyton. They won the game along with the divisional round game versus the Pittsburgh Steelers to set up the 17th installment of Brady versus Manning. The Broncos defense harassed Brady all day as Von Miller became the catalyst for Denver in their 20-18 win versus New England in the AFC Championship game, giving Manning possibly his last chance at capturing his second Super Bowl title. The NFC representative for Super Bowl 50 is the 15-1 Carolina Panthers. In the preseason, Carolina's number 1 receiver, Kelvin Benjamin, tore his ACL, and following that, many pundits proceeded to write them off. The Panthers had to count on Ted Ginn Jr., Philly Brown, rookie Devin Funchess, and Jericho Cotchery to replace Benjamin. The Panthers began the season 4-0, but many weren't impressed. Beat Seattle, they said, and then we'll see. Well, the Panthers won 27-23 on a Greg Olsen catch with around 30 seconds left. After an October overtime win versus Indianapolis and a beatdown of America's team on Thanksgiving, the Panthers escaped the Saints in the Superdome with more Newton heroics as Cotchery snagged the game-winning catch. Well, the Panthers started 14-0, but they fell 2 consecutive wins short of perfection as they fell to the Atlanta Falcons in Week 16. In the postseason, more doubters popped up. Seattle will upset, they said. Cam Newton will be exposed, they said. The Panthers raced to a 31-0 start in that one in an eventual 31-24 nail-biter. In the NFC Championship game, Arizona and Carolina seemed to be a good matchup, but it turned into a blowout as Carolina dominated 49-15 and are now playing for a championship. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. It's the Carolina Panthers taking on the Denver Broncos for the right to hoist the Lombardi Trophy in the 50th anniversary of the Super Bowl. After the Panthers handled Arizona in the championship game, the Broncos, with a dominant defensive performance, took down New England to advance. For Denver to be victorious, they will need a similar effort to have a chance. The Broncos have a ton of star power on defense like Von Miller, Derek Wolfe, Chris Harris Jr., Aqib Talib, and safety TJ Ward. Their corners will be tasked with covering Carolina's unheralded receiving corps consisting of Ted Ginn Jr., Corey Philly Brown, rookie Devin Funchess, and Jericho Cotchery. Many would think that Carolina's receivers would not strike fear into the hearts of opposing defenses, but think again. Ginn, who replaced Kelvin Benjamin when he tore his ACL, has exceeded all expectations with 10 touchdown receptions in the regular season. Cotchery has been clutch for Carolina, and Philly Brown provides another deep threat as well for the Panthers. The big key for Denver is to neutralize Panthers tight end Greg Olsen. He is Cam's go-to guy, and if he gets past linebacker Brandon Marshall or safety TJ Ward in coverage, this game could get out of hand quickly. Jonathan Stewart and Cam Newton will provide most of the yards on the ground for the Panthers, and it should provide an interesting challenge for the league's number 1 defense. On Denver's offense, Peyton Manning cannot carry this team alone. The running backs C.J. Anderson and Ronnie Hillman will need to get past Carolina's talented trio of linebackers in Kuechly, Thomas Davis, and rookie Shaq Thompson. Davis broke his arm in the NFC Championship game, but for a guy who tore his ACL in 3 consecutive seasons in a row, he said that this will not stop him from playing in his first Super Bowl. Denver's key to the game is to win the turnover battle. If Peyton Manning becomes erratic in the pocket and he can't get enough velocity on the football, shutdown cornerback Josh Norman will be lurking and waiting to jump a route to make a game-changing play. Don't get lackadaisical throwing deep either, because Carolina safety Kurt Coleman has 9 interceptions this year, and he had 2 last week, so watch out. Carolina's key to the game is to create turnovers. Peyton Manning has 0 interceptions the past 2 weeks, so it's up to the secondary of the Panthers to win the day. Interceptions are typically caused by pressure, so the defensive line of the Panthers will need to come up through in the clutch. Overall, this should be a pretty entertaining game with possibly Peyton Manning's last rodeo and the rise of superstar quarterback Cam Newton, but at the end of the day, I believe that Peyton's storybook ending will be denied, as the Carolina Panthers will be crowned Super Bowl champions for the first time in franchise history.
It's the Super Bowl, and we have the Carolina Panthers taking on the Denver Broncos, number 1 seed versus number 1 seed. Now, this is a great Super Bowl, and I think this could be a very back-and-forth game in the beginning. Peyton Manning, I'm sure, will lead a passing offense with multiple receivers running down the field and getting first downs. Cam Newton, on the other hand, is a very big threat because he can run the ball to Jonathan Stewart, run the ball himself, or throw it downfield. Now, overall, both teams have very good defenses, though I would say Carolina's edges by just a little bit, but both have proven themselves as the best defenses in the league this year. So overall, I think Denver, if you look back at the AFC Championship, they only beat New England by 2 points, and New England did not play well at all. Tom Brady was on the ground pretty much every play. So when you only win by 2 when New England is playing terrible, I don't see how you can take down the 15-1 Panthers. So overall, I think the Panthers will run away with it in the second half and win the Super Bowl.
It's the NFL's big day when the Carolina Panthers and the Denver Broncos travel to Santa Clara, California to play in Super Bowl 50. Both of these teams have star-studded squads, and the Panthers have people like Cam Newton, Josh Norman, and Greg Olsen, and the Broncos have Peyton Manning, Emmanuel Sanders, and Von Miller. It's going to be a great game, but I think the Panthers' great offense and great defense is just going to come out on top with Peyton Manning's last game.
Hi, I'm Andy, and this is a special week for NFLUpdatesExpress, Super Bowl 50, between the Denver Broncos and the Carolina Panthers. I believe this will be an interesting game, but not for that long. Cam and his team have too much firepower for Peyton and the Broncos to handle. I believe Peyton will struggle to move the ball down the field against the Panthers' D. Peyton is a very good first or second series player. After his first 2 possessions, he'll stall and rely on his worn-out defense to keep him in the game. On the other hand, Cam and his offense will just dominate the Broncos' defense. Cam's offense is triple threat. They can run the ball, hand it off, and Cam can run the ball. And Peyton, on the other hand, is just a single threat, handing it off to C.J. Anderson. His arm is completely shot and just can't deliver crisp passes like he used to. Once it's all said and done, this game will be all Panthers. Though I believe Peyton gets off to a good start with 10 points in his first 2 possessions, I see him stalling the rest of the game. I predict a whopping 31-13 Carolina win to capture their first Super Bowl title.
It's the chosen one. It's the surprise player that can make a big impact on Super Bowl Sunday. For the Broncos, I'm going with running back C.J. Anderson. The running game will be crucial for Denver to have success. Anderson has the capabilities of producing great numbers, and he'll need to be on his game and have another solid day to give his team a chance. On Carolina, I have 2 players, Kawan Short and Cortland Finnegan. Short is a defensive tackle for the Panthers, and he's had double-digit sacks this season, so we'll need to provide more pressure to disrupt Peyton Manning's timing in the game. Finnegan is the slot cornerback for the Panthers after replacing Bené Benwikri due to injury. He will line up against Andre Caldwell, Cody Latimer, or even Owen Daniels on the Broncos in the middle of the field. I think Finnegan will capitalize on a Manning pass for an interception that could make the difference in the end.
It's the chosen one. On the Denver side of things, I think it will be Owen Daniels. He's had a pretty solid season. Not too great and not too bad either. So I think Peyton Manning will definitely look to him in the Super Bowl, as he had a great game in the AFC Championship, really proving himself with 2 touchdowns. Now, he also will perform some key blocks, I'm sure, and help Peyton Manning drive the ball down the field, catching for some first downs and even a big one here and there. Devin Funchess is my star on the other side of the ball. The Panthers will be throwing to him a lot to get first downs when they need them most, and especially since he's had a pretty good season. I mean, he had a couple really good games mixed in between, so I think they'll definitely look to him now that he is up in the Super Bowl stage. He could even catch a game-winning touchdown or game-winning first down to seal the deal for the Panthers' victory, so you just never know, but I think he will be the chosen one for the Panthers.
For the chosen one, I have chosen Emmanuel Sanders. He's fast, athletic, and quick. When Peyton's healthy and throwing the ball well, Emmanuel Sanders can light up in a second and change the game's whole complexion. On the other side of the ball, Mike Tolbert. He's a big factor in the red zone. Carolina will need him to bowl his way through Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware in the red zone, and I believe he will. That's why I see him as a possible game changer.
My chosen one for the Panthers is Corey Philly Brown. Corey's hot right now, and he came off a big game against the Arizona Cardinals, and I think he'll do the same against the Denver Broncos. My chosen one for the Broncos is Derek Wolfe. If Derek can contain Cam Newton, he could get a lot of highlights.
For the 2016 Pro Bowl, it was Team Irvin taking down Team Rice by the score of 49-27. A pair of Seahawk teammates were the offensive and defensive MVPs. Russell Wilson and Michael Bennett took home those honors. Some other players who had pretty good performances included Allen Robinson and Delaney Walker, along with Devonta Freeman for the Pro Bowl.